know where you're from. What country? What man? It's moving so fast. I see UK. I see Queens, New York. I see Toronto, Jamaica. Wow. Where else did I see? I see Finland, South Florida, New Zealand, Ohio, San Francisco, Bermuda. I saw one country I couldn't pronounce: Cayman Islands, Vermont, Hilo, Bronx, New York. Ed, I heard set that thing on fire over there. And Montreal, Panama, Frisco, Texas, Puerto Rico, St. Louis, Guam, Mauritius. Wow, Dubai. Awesome. That's what I'm talking about. That is what I'm talking about. Okay, let's see if I am, I want to make sure that I am visible the way that I need to be. Am I? All righty, let's see here. All right, and so you guys give me a thumbs up if you can actually see me right now, because for some reason I can't see that you guys see me. I need confirmation here. All right, give me some thumbs up. Do I see any thumbs up here? Let's see. Okay, they say they see me. That's what I'm talking about. Well, you know, I'm having my morning inspiration right here, and ready to rock and roll. It's been a while since I've been on one of these calls here. And you know, we have a GMA who comes and says, "HB, I've made an," and you know, he's been on the road. He's been, you know, he's got all of these miles, and I'm a little jealous because I know I can just watch this evolution of excitement build up with him, because everybody's been so, you know, in the office or in their home so much on Zooms, and he walks in my office, you know, with all of these travel miles, and hey, he came in one day and he's leaving out the next, coming back and leaving out the next, going this city, and I think this coming week here he's going to be over there in Indianapolis, Indiana, and I'm a little jealous because he's been on the road doing what is my favorite thing in the world to do, and that's be in front of people. And he says, "Listen, I'm making an executive decision." And so when the GMA comes into the CEO's office and make an executive decision, which he very seldom does, you got to listen. So he says, "I'm making an executive decision." I'm like, "Okay, what are you doing now?" "You need to get on a this call is inspired by your gym." But no, there was some information that I wanted to cover anyway. He wanted me to do flight school on Saturday. I didn't, and I was planning to actually have been in Mexico on Saturday. We couldn't make Mexico on Saturday, so I'll be there this week here. That I want to make, and I figured while I'm doing a few announcements, I would do just a little bit of training. Now, unless you guys vote that you don't want me to share any insight and share the information, because you know Ed's been out there in front of these people, and I kind of feel like, you know, I'm a little jealous, and I'm like, I want to give a little bit too. It's one of our favorite things to do, and so I want to hear, I want to see right now on the chats right now, if would it be okay if I share just some insights, if I give a few things, maybe if I gave a few tips or something like that, would that be okay? I want to know from the overwhelming majority. It's got to be an overwhelming majority of the people who say, you know what, Mr. Bugs, it's HB, it's completely okay if you share a few things. And see them coming in right now. Well, one of the first things I want to do is this here. I won't keep this call real long, and it's normally dangerous when I say that, because when I say I'm not going to keep the call long, you know, normally that turns into what I call a marathon. But I do have respect for the holiday today, and specifically here in the United States, today is the holiday that I want to recognize and to salute. It's Memorial Day. And Memorial Day is a day that we actually come together and we remember and recognize all of the people who have actually served in our armed forces, our military, who keep us safe and who do things in the community, do things around the world to make sure that not only we're safe, but make sure a lot of the world is safe as well. And so for those of you who have served in the military, if you're currently serving in the military, have served in the past, retired, whatever it may be, first of all, I salute each and every one of you. You guys um, you do things that's difficult. And I know for you, some of you say it's not difficult because you're serving your country, but it is. That's a major sacrifice. And some of the things that we have to deal with, I think is hard. I was talking with some people just yesterday about some of the difficulties of the things that I deal with as a CEO of a company, and the things that we deal with as a company. And many of you are aware of those. I don't need to go and rehash all the hash, but no, it's been difficult. But then when I think about it, and I woke up this morning and I saw, Memorial Day, and I saw that, there's people, hundreds of thousands of people on an annual basis who are putting themselves in harm's way, and many of them actually know that they will do something and have an opportunity of not being able to return to their families. That's sacrifice. That's difficult. And for that, I thank you. I salute you. We appreciate you. And we want you to know that you're well thought about on this day here, Memorial Day. And it's not only this day, but this is just a day that we all come together and we recognize it. So I really, really, really salute each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. And this is from Merlene. This is from our entire corporate staff as well. And I know we have some diamonds who have actually served in the military as well. So we salute each and every one of you. But guys, I want to first of all, and secondly, I want to say this here as well. And this is not to send mixed messages, and this is definitely not to belittle or to diminish our military soldiers. Here in Boomerang, we've got some soldiers here as well, and I want to say that even though that your responsibility here in Boomerang is not as is not as much of a sacrifice. I want to salute every person here as well. Those soldiers who go out there, you fight the good fight. You go out there and you wear the banner of Boomerang. You carry it with pride. You defend us. You protect us. You carry our name. You speak us. You edify us. You do all of those things as well. And many of you have gone through a tremendous fight. Some of you are brand new. I was just on the phone with our IT department, and we were looking at some of the new ranks that are here. We believe, and I'm just waiting for confirmation. Believe we've got a brand new diamond for the month of May. And I salute them because to go diamond and have not been able to see $1 of volume in your back office, and you join the business in the month of May, and they don't even know that they're diamond. They don't know any of their ranks whatsoever. And but they went out there and they just built it. And it's not only them, but many of you out there, true loyal soldiers. And some of you, your patience have been tested. Some of you, your patience is tested right now. You got like 99%, like that 1% battery that shows left, that 1%, and you're wondering, how long can I talk on the phone having just that 1% left on that battery? And that's where some of you've been. And so hopefully this call here is to give you just a little bit of a recharge, okay? To give you a little bit of the recharge. And you know how it is sometimes when your battery pack gets way down, you ask somebody, do you have a quick charge? And they've got one of those quick portable chargers, and you're so excited. Sometimes that quick charge of a battery can give you more gratification than waking up in the morning with a full 100% battery. Why? Because maybe it's at the end of the day or the middle of the day, and boom, it goes from red. And just when you get that little bit of green, that little sliver, that little one green bar, you're like, wow, how many more calls can I make? I know I've got to make some very important calls. And so my message today, or my purpose for being on this call today, is to be that just to turn your batteries from red to just that one slither of green, okay? And then week to week, what my goal is as a company is that we will add to that green and get your batteries to the point where they're fully recharged, fully recharged. And here's the thing I want to share with you. Regardless of what we have or what you have had to endure, what we've endured as a company, I'm really proud of our company. I am. I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our executive staff. I'm proud of all the managers that we've got. I'm proud of just our ambassadors. I'm proud of everybody who's contributed and made iBoomerang what it is. I'm extremely proud because sometimes I can think, and I was out field and things that I want to do, want to get done, and whatever it is. And sometimes I can beat up on myself about where we are because there's certain things that are beyond my control. And I've been labeled a control freak. You know, I sometimes disagree, but I've been labeled a control freak. And she says, well, it's just because you can't control everything. And that's why you're frustrated, because you can't control it. And I was having a conversation with my performance therapist as well. And that's what he was saying is, dude, you can't control everything. You can't. And sometimes you got to just let things play out the way that they need to play out. And but at the end of the day, I just had to come back and think about the opposite side of it. What have we accomplished and what the future really looks like? Because what I found is this here. This is what I have personally found. I've personally found that the times that I am most disappointed, the times that I have the height of frustration is and are those times where I'm focusing on the present. The present. You say, what do you mean? I'm focusing on the now. And if many of you know me, one of the reasons that I believe that I generally have what I call a PMA, a positive mental attitude, is because to me the present is always boring. I always live in the future. I always put my focus in what the future is going to look like, and that's what has allowed me to really see and have a different outlook, not only on business, but on life. I find that when I always focused on my current circumstances always allowed me to have an emotional, roller coaster or an emotional yo-yo. Sometimes it's up. Why? Because my feelings were based on things that were happening good, or feelings were based on things that were happening bad. And so this is that time where I became, or I was, what I call the thermometer. I was the thermometer. And so the thermometer in me allowed all of my environment, things that were happening, whether I had a big check this week, small check this week, somebody joined my group this week, somebody quit this week, regardless of what was happening, I was trained and I was conditioned to feel based on my current, which I had no real control over my life. And as I rewind and I go back and I think about how was it that I was a grown man, I was 25 years old, I was $250,000 in debt. I was 45 days away from foreclosure. I was trying to file bankruptcy, but I didn't have enough money to hire a lawyer to file bankruptcy. So I bought a book called How to File Bankruptcy. And because I'm a slow reader, I didn't do it because the book was this thick. And so this was that time that my financial situation controlled my attitude. It controlled a whole lot of things. And my outside, it controlled what my inside was feeling. So if things were bad, I would come home and I would probably have a negative outlook on my family or my friends, and they could actually tell that something wasn't going on right or the way that I wanted it to go. Why? Because my attitude reflected my current results. Maybe it was financial, it could have been family, it could have been friends, it could have been project wise, whatever it was. I was affected by all of the outside. And I want you to know that it's normal. It is normal. But just because it's normal doesn't mean it's productive. You know what's also normal? It is normal to set New Year's resolutions. It is normal for 90% of the people to set goals for the new year. And then 99% of those 90% who set new goals stop or quit or fall short and stop doing the things that will bring the goals into fruition. That's normal. I remember in 2017, and I'm skipping years and I may go back and I may go forward, but 2017, I decided that I was going to create a new normal. I remember saying to myself, things that were abnormal will now become normal. Things that were extraordinary will now become my ordinary. Things that were completely out of reach will be right to my touch. And all of that was because of, I never forget, I was watching an interview with Jay-Z and Charlie Rose. This was years ago. And I heard a few things. I don't remember everything that was going on that interview, but I do remember the conversation about new normals. And I came away from that interview creating new normals. And that wasn't the first time that I decided to have, a positive outlook on stuff. As I said, I'm skipping, but I remember how I made adjustments even way back when. During that time that we were going through foreclosure, during that time that we were the car was repossessed, I never forget a few things that I decided to do. I remember that I was reading a book. And I don't know which book I was reading at that time. And this is the importance, ladies and gentlemen, of personal development. And personal development is not 100% about reading or listening or even association. That is what I call the source of personal development. It's the source. Meaning that's the beginning. That's where you can actually draw from you can draw from it. Personal development is once you have read the book or books or the collection of books or collection of tapes or attended the meetings or associating with your diamonds and your blue diamonds and your black diamonds and doing all of these associations, what do you draw from it? And how do you change? What are the new behavior patterns that you have that pushes you in a new direction that somebody can look and say, this person has personally developed? Otherwise, they will say, this person reads a lot. Okay? And so reading along is not just the key. What do you take from the book? And so here we are, we're 45 days away from foreclosure. We're $250,000 in debt. American Distress had cut off my credit card because I wasn't paying them. MasterCard was calling, bill collectors calling, asking, and I would tell her to say, listen, tell them I ain't home. She'd answer the phone. She'd say, well, he told me to tell y'all he's not here. And that was and here's this frustration. And I never forget, here's what I did. Because this was the time I made a decision. I made a decision that this will be the last time HB ever is broke. This will be the last time money ever affects my mood, because it was me who was on the broke side of money. And I recognize a lot of my peers who was on the other side of money in terms of the wrong side of money. We were the ones chanting all the time, all rich people do is think about money. That's all they do is think about money. I remember growing up, that was kind of the mentality that I have. And I can tell you it's really the opposite. Because the times that I was broke, I was thinking about money all the time, thinking about money in the respect of how much I didn't have and how much I needed. And if you can ever look back and think through that concept, that was my focus. Well, we happened to get on that other side of money. And when I got on the other side of money, do you know we don't think about money? I'm not saying that from a bragging standpoint. It's like oxygen. I don't think about oxygen. Why? Because I'm already built to receive all that I need, and there's a lot more to go around than just enough for me. And you sitting next to me or me being in a crowded space, I'm not intimidated by the number of people who are going to take up all the oxygen so I don't have any. And that is when I decided to develop what I call an abundance mentality. Before the abundance mentality, I had a lack mentality. I had a mentality of not enough. I didn't have enough. Somebody else is responsible. Somebody's got my money. And when I got on the other side of money and developed an abundance mentality, I thought about things that were so important to me. About things that were important to me, like service. I thought about things that were so important to me, like legacy. I thought about, things that were important to me, like giving back, like developing others, like passing on this new doctrine that I've developed through association and books and things of that nature, and making sure that I spread it to other people. Why? Because I started to realize that it's like swimming. When I was on the wrong side of money, I would beat the water. And some of you know what I mean by beating the water when you're swimming. You're creating a lot of movement, a lot of activity. Why? Because you're panicking. Because the thing that you're thinking of swim well and you haven't been trained as a swimmer, what you're thinking about is drowning or surviving. But both of those thought processes are lack thought processes. You're thinking from a perspective of not having enough skill, so I beat the water. Why? I'm panicking. I've got to make sure that this water does not defeat me. Once you've been trained as a swimmer, you get in the water and you allow the water to become your friend. You allow the water to assist you in your purpose, and thus you enjoy the water. And what our goal is, and what the purpose of iBoomerang is, to do just that. Our goal for iBoomerang is for it to train you to get yourself to a position where you no longer have to fight society, fight the economics, for survival. That when you master the principles of gaining and producing and multiplying wealth, you just breathe and money comes. Now, don't go around saying HB said all I got to do is breathe and money comes. But that's actually true. You sell enough Zents, when people breathe, money keeps coming, right? But I'm giving an analogy of you breathe and you just know there's enough. You go out and work your business and you know what? There's enough. I remember in the very beginnings when I would go out to prospect, I would fight it. I would put all this energy. Why? Because I was prospecting from a position of lack. I saw my back office and I felt that anybody else that I was talking to about my business saw my back office as well. So I had to do all of these different mental exercises to cover up what was lacking in my back office, what was lacking in my bank account. And I developed so many of these bad habits when I necessarily didn't have to. I didn't have to. And so today, when you have mastered the key to unveiling wealth, or you learn how to turn the pipeline on so that wealth actually just transfers to you, you no longer have to fight the water. You just do. You just are. You just be. And the state of being is one of the most conscious states of freedom. This is why we focus so much on freedom and free enterprise. Why do you think I brought Elevate to iBoomerang? I didn't bring Elevate to iBoomerang so we can have another digital service for subscriptions. There was one reason that I brought Elevate, because when I personally learned a new skill myself on how to take $1 and turn it into $1.25 from my cell phone, I said, I've got to teach my people how to do it. I've got to tell everyone who's around me how to do this. And that's the purpose of having Elevate. It wasn't, oh, we need a new recruiting tool. It was, man, I started an account with a nice, modest amount of money, and I watched it multiply. Why did this skill in high school? I probably would not have gone to college because I would have been in control. And that's one of the reasons that we do it. So we've equipped with an opportunity in a business that allows you to earn money. And within that platform, we've got a skill set and we've got an institution of what I call it that shows you how to multiply it. There's a third step that many of you will learn in leadership and leadership trainings that we're going to start doing of how to multiply the multiplier. And you know the cool thing? You know why it's so inspiring? It's so inspiring because you don't have to start with a lot. You don't. You don't have to start with a lot. But one of the things that I will tell you is that you've got to come to the table with this PMA, this positive mental attitude. And you've got to put yourself in position to know that no matter who you are, where you are around the world, you need this skill set. I can tell you, I have already taken taken lessons from the Elevate educators, and I've already put them into practice and seen results that are that I wouldn't have had I not been in that particular class or reviewed that particular session. And so it's more to our arsenal. So I say that why? Because I don't want you signing up for Elevate. Elevate is not for you to sign up. Elevate is for you to get educated. Signing up doesn't mean anything. Enrolling in college doesn't mean anything if you don't graduate, if you don't get the experience. Get the experience, get the information, get the knowledge. I'm sitting there and I'm looking at our chats in the Project 10, and I'm looking at people who never ever knew anything about trading, and I'm watching them right now earn money. And I'm watching them start off. Some of them started off with $100. Some started off at $500. Some started off with a little bit more. But I'm watching them take it and double it. I'm watching them understand this principle. And if you are a part of iBoomerang and you have not told everyone in your family about Elevate, shame on you. You have to spread the good news about this level of education. Why? Why is that so important? Okay. Somebody say, can I say double X? Double X. Double X was actually one of the first vitamins that I used to sell in network marketing. Some of y'all will know what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is I want you to imagine that there was this situation called stress that many of us are aware of. And you actually had an exercise program that you knew of, and from a document standpoint, you could document and give full evidence that by taking this set of exercise courses, it would eliminate your stress by 95%. And we all know stress is one of the main reasons people develop health concerns and health conditions and lead to either a bad living experience or even death. Meaning, if you had access to that information and you knew from a documentary standpoint it worked, and you didn't tell all of your family about that, that means that you know that the majority of your family members are going to suffer with that particular disease called stress, and you're not going to share it with them? All right, Bart. Bart says it's chapstick time. I'm paying attention. Y'all know the key to success around here, right? You can get them nice and greasy for you guys. Okay? So, when you think about it, one of the biggest reasons for stress is lack of money. And it's not necessarily the lack of money, it is really the lack of know-how to get more. It's the lack of expertise. So lack of money doesn't kill anybody, because there's a lot of countries around this world that have a substandard living, and they live off of $500 a year. But what it is they're not focused on how to get more and don't know how to. See, you live in a world with other people around you that are so successful, And it's the competition is what brings the stress upon you. Think about it. It is knowing I'm living substandard. How do you know you're living substandard? Because you're comparing your results next to somebody else's. That person has a bigger house than me. That person has security in their neighborhood and I don't. I've got to work harder. I need more money. That person, their car works every time. Mine doesn't. So no matter what your income is, you're comparing certain things. And so it's that differential. This is where the stress is. Here's where you are, and here's where you focus on the competition here. And that differential right there, that difference is what brings about the stress. Why? Because you don't know how to get here. And there's nothing wrong at peers and wanting to get here. Nothing wrong with wanting to get there. But when you don't know how to get here and you think, oh, I'm going to put in more hours, I'll apply for more jobs, and you use ways that are not within your control, that's what brings about the stress and it causes issues. And we have a solution for it. It's called Elevate. It's called Elevate. I'm watching, I can tell you this, I'm more proud of the ladies who are there in Elevate than I am the guys. I just got to be candid with you. Because I'm watching the ladies in Elevate, and I'm watching they're some of the most vocal people in these classes and these trainings, and I'm watching them develop a skill set, whereas they feel that they're making their own personal contribution, regardless if they're single or if they're married. And it's looking like they're some of the better traders within our test groups that we have. So you've got a responsibility to be able to pass that on. You've got a responsibility to be able to tell the world about Elevate. Major, major responsibility. But I want to share a couple things with you that leads to everything that I've been talking about here. I do. I want to share a couple things with you. Okay. 2 days ago, we had a great, a very, very, very good flight school. T. Gray really laid out a lot of our updates, and so I'm not going through a whole lot of that, those updates. What I will tell you is, and some of you hear this and it doesn't even make sense, and I understand it doesn't, because you don't see it, you don't see what we're seeing. But there's significant progress that we've made. And we're not saying that to keep baiting you to make you feel like, okay, well, they're doing something. No, there's a lot that's being done. But there's significant progress that is actually being made on our technology. And I believe, and I hate giving dates. Why? I'm not in control of it right now. I'm just not. If I can control it, trust me, this wouldn't be our topic. But we'll see even more significant progress this week here. And it will get to a point of operation coming up very close this week. I believe no longer than the end of this week, whereas we'll be operational, and the things that they're working on, it won't even matter to you. The things that do matter to you, we've made significant progress on. And you're like, okay, well, why can I see this thing? That one button. And that's the mentality that I had. Fix that one button. Well, then, like T. Gray said, we watch code that we can almost code ourselves. There are certain things that must take place first from a foundation standpoint with the data before. So it's not the button that doesn't work. All the buttons actually do work. Okay. But we had, I don't know how many millions of records in our data. And I'll give you one example, then I'll move on. people were wondering why didn't subscriptions run before, this month? Well, you got the credit cards, just run them. Well, our data that we had I'll just say it like that. The data that we have currently, when we were running our credit cards, we were wondering for the last 6 weeks, what's wrong? We've gotten every party involved in it that we possibly could, figured out everything that could possibly go wrong. And then we realized, okay, after trial and error, they figured out, it's just called the debugging process, that every credit card, some kind of way, expiration date was moved by 1 month. You know what we had to do? With 90,000 credit cards that were in the 90,000 credit cards in the history of our system, had to go in and change the expiration date by 1 month on each credit card. Well, you don't do that in an hour, if you know what I mean. And so it's things like that. And that's why, you saw them get run yesterday. And once that was done, the code had to be written for that, blah, 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 and all of that kind of stuff. So we covered, T. Gray covered that stuff, and then David just brought the house down. I didn't even see all of his call, but I've got to go back and look at it because, man, I saw so many chats so many comments in the chat room about his conference call, and one of those that everybody says, hey, listen, this goes down as one of the best calls that have ever been done. Thank you, David Hunt. I really appreciate that. You are a champion among champions. And I know the week before that, Sam Bean just really laid it out. And these diamonds are really going in really, really, really hard, okay? But the thing I will share with you is this, is that we are near the end of such a unexpected, and I don't want to say ill-prepared. No, we as a company prepared. But there were some unexpected things that we can't even speak about right now that caused a lot of the delays in our technologies. No way in the world we would have flipped the switch to turn on technology that hadn't been tested, that hadn't been that wasn't, that we didn't think were ready. You always know that there's going to be bugs that you have to work out. And then some things took place that we're just not at liberty to discuss now that just changed the entire landscape once we switched all over. And we're nearing the end of it. And I got to just give thanks to even our tech team, even though they've heard some of my very high volume, low CV conversations. Many of them have not had a day where they didn't work at least 20 hours. Okay, I'll just say it like that. But but that too shall pass. That too shall pass. And we're doing everything that we have to do. But I want to share a couple things with you. As I look back at the HB that you guys see now and the HB that I once was, I can reflect a whole lot because I was an expert at not succeeding at one time. And many of you, sometimes you look and you see the success that I've had in the industry, and that's great success, and I'm appreciative of it. I look back a lot on how I overcame certain things. I'm real big on coaching. I'm real big on events. I'm real big on keeping a journal called What Did I Do Right? Most people who keep a journal and keep records, they keep a record of failures and they keep a record of all of the things that they did wrong. All the things that they did wrong. And even the majority of the things are all the things that we did wrong. I always wanted to know what I did on something and I overcame. What did I do at that moment to overcome, so I do not have to go revisit, or at any point in time that I get back into my slump, whether it's mental, financial, emotional, relationship slump, whatever it is, I could go back and reference what did I do right to get to overcome that particular issue. My notes are very detailed. I have notes in terms of when I was moving towards a certain result bracket. I can tell you what type of music I was listening to if I was. I can tell you how I was dressing, what books I was reading, what audios I was listening to, who I was having the majority of my conversations with. Why? Because I do know that a whole lot of what my results were. This is how I made the decision to move from being just the thermometer to the thermostat. Do you remember when I talked about a moment ago that as a thermometer, my temperature was revealed based on, I revealed what was going on in my life, and that affected my attitude. If you ever look at a thermometer, you've got this little, this glass cylinder, and then you've got this little red filament in there that's made of mercury. And depending on the temperature outside, that mercury will rise up. It will expand and rise up, and then there's markings on the side that tells you what the temperature is. If it's cold, the mercury will descend, and you have a colder temperature. But that mercury doesn't have any control. It doesn't have a thought process. It doesn't have an attitude. It's only a revelation of events that are taking on outside. And so the weather has control over whether that mercury rises or whether it descends. And I thought about it. Is that who I want to be? Do I want the mercury? Do I want the weather? What's the weather? Do I want other people? Do I want criticism? Do I want my income? Do I want challenges, problems, whatever it may be? Do I want all of these things to take over this body that I have? And my mercury is my attitude. Do I want all of those things to control my attitude? So when something happens, let me give you an example. I can drive in traffic, and some of you, your PMA is so underdeveloped that somebody cuts you off in the middle of traffic, and them cutting you off takes your mercury, your PMA attitude, and it shoots it all the way up. Now your attitude is hot, and now you're honking your horn, and now you're flipping them off, and now you're saying all kinds of things to a person that you will never see again. And if you think that you are going to become a major diamond and a diamond producer when you can't even control attitude from a stranger who you'll never see in the next 30 seconds, you don't have a chance at weathering storms in this business. Because it will eat you alive. Why? Because your detractors you're going to see every day. Every day. You're leaning on your horn. Why? Because you are only the mercury, and you have chosen to only be a thermometer. The thermostat, however, determines the temperature. I decided HB is going to be a thermostat. I'm not going to allow others to determine my temperature. I got a video the other day that was sent to me. And I watched that video, And it was someone who had some levels of frustration. And in my heart of hearts, I know that they're good people. I know that they are. Normally, I would have responded much differently. And I'm so grateful for PMA. Why? Because I didn't allow that level of weather to control my attitude. And I responded from a position of being the thermostat, not the thermometer. And so you're going to have these same situations that you're going to have to deal with. Okay? How do you respond to them? If your group comes leaders here yesterday, who's just joined us as well, and they have some high, had some people with high frustration who just joined the company. You're the thermostat. You're not the thermometer. Okay. And I can tell when we got off of the call, I said to myself, this is someone that I know that we are going to be able to count on as a company. Okay. Because of the attitude. It wasn't what was taking place, it was the attitude. I want to give you right now, I want to give you a few things. I want to share with you how to release yourself from being the thermometer, because some of you are thermometers and you don't know it. And I want you to become the thermostat. How did I learn this stuff? I learned this stuff at events. I learned this stuff from sitting down and listening to the Diamonds when I was a distributor, teach and train, and I overindulged in this information and I applied it. And I started to see small evidence of productivity. And I was like, it works. It wasn't magic. Positive mental attitude is a science. There's a formula for it. You're not born negative. You're not born positive. You are born and you've got you've got a hard drive that has only the operating system. Like when you get a computer, your hard drive isn't empty. The operating system sits on your hard drive. So your computer or your phone is not negative or positive. Only the operating system sits, and the files of the operating system sit on your hard drive. From that point on, whatever you go and download is going to determine the productivity level of your computer. Your brain is no different. Every one of you were born and you had an operating system, and we all have the same operating system. And then you start hearing words, you start hearing phrases, you start hearing cliches. You start hearing words like, yeah, how you doing? Well, man, if I had your hand, I'd cut mine off. Hey, how you doing, man? Fair to middling. How you doing, man? My back ache, my neck ache, my tummy ache, my foot. Man, I'm on 3 medications and the doctor trying to prescribe me for 6 more. And when you start hearing all of these things, you're downloading that information into your hard drive, and that's what your expectation is to live like. This is why we often follow our parents and grandparents until that chain is broken. This is why I always say I have a short period of time for any of that conversation. If I talk to my mom and she start telling me who all died last week, it's time to get off the call. I'm not insensitive to people's death. You can give me an announcement, but I don't need to talk all the details about it. I don't know those people. They're dead, they're gone. I don't know them. I'm about life. Who's living? Can we talk about who's living? My niece and my nephew, what did they do in school yesterday? Tell me, did they learn anything new? That's how I decided to put, but there's people who are not equipped for that, and you can't force them to think like that. And so, but you got to make a decision to give limited access or measured access. This is not how you survive. This is how you thrive. This is how you thrive in iBoomerang. Because when you develop that mindset, you will start to notice how things start to flow towards you. I want to give you 10 signs. I'm going to go through these a little quickly. And I've collected these over the years from going to seminars and going to events. And when I look at how much investment that I put into my books and my tapes and my seminars, and I said, wow, I remember when I was paying $300 per ticket to go to most of my seminars back then. And I look at how much I have multiplied that investment and what it's worth today. When I think back, I wish I had have invested more. I wish now, because I understand that when I had a lack mentality, when I had a mentality of there's not enough money to go around, when I had a mentality of they're lucky, when I had this other mentality, I didn't think like this. If I had this abundance mentality back then, I would have doubled the number of seminars that I went to. I would have doubled the number of tapes I listened to. Why? Because I look at what my results are now. It's far greater than the exponential growth that I've had in with my trades. Why? Because there's nothing more valuable than enriching your attitude. Nothing more greater than enriching your attitude. Okay. But I want to give you 10 signs. I call them the 10 signs of failure. Why? As I spoke to you and told you about how I overcame, I needed to know what am I doing right, which meant here's what I used to do, here's what I'm doing right. I know how to identify my signs of failure so that I never revisit, or if I do revisit, I go to my book called What Am I Doing Right? And it shows me how to get from out of that place. A navigational system, whenever you get lost, a navigation system, if you know where you are, and the navigation system it will allow you to go from where you are, which is a place of being lost, to a place of the destination of your choice. But it must have a reference point. And some of us, the reason you need the reference point is because if you don't know where you are, you see a map and it says you are here. If you don't know that, you're fooling yourself. If you think you're so positive, but everybody else knows how negative you really are, you won't have the motivation to grow. I'm not saying you have to be perfect positive. I'm just saying people know whether you're positive or whether you're negative. When you come, do people want you to stay longer, or do they kind of excuse themselves? Do they invite you into the conversation? Do they smile when you show up? Or are you like a dark cloud? You'll always come with doom and gloom and what's wrong and what's not right. I'm not saying you hide away anything that's wrong. I don't want you to hide away challenge. I'm saying hide them. No, I face them front on. Because hiding them does not make it go away. But I now have a choice. What am I going to focus on? What can I control? You know what I can control? This call here. You know what I can control? Talking to my leaders. You know what I can control? teaching my organization how to navigate rough waters. That's what I can control. I can't control the other stuff. First sign of failure, the addiction to the approval of other people. And I want you to write these down, the addiction of the approval of other people. So many of us, one of the biggest reasons that we can't move forward or that we can't or don't move in a progressive direction is because we're looking for the approval of others. We're looking for validation in people who may not even care about you. I had to learn that. I told you guys I didn't become free until my 40s. Why? Because so much of me sought validation through other people. And it wasn't just people who didn't care, but so much of me would get, seeking validation through people who were authority figures in my life. It didn't keep me down. I'm appreciative, but I didn't have a sense of freedom. But even on a lower level, I remember, being embarrassed about not having money. And I remember trying to look like I had more than I had because I wanted the approval of people who were doing worse than me, but I just didn't know it because they wanted my approval as well. And here we are, both of us, trying to impress each other. And if we were both real and both completely naked, we would have known both of us. Let's become a source of inspiration for both of us. And instead of looking for approval, let's look for accountability. But that's what kept me right here for a long time. I wanted their approval. And I thought so much of what they thought about me. One of the number one signs of failure, looking for the approval of other people. Number two, entertaining yourself more than you educate yourself. Entertaining yourself more than you educate yourself. Is your investment in cable television, Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime, Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music, is your investment in those things, restaurant outings, your movie tickets, is your monthly investment in those things, if you total them up, do you invest more? If you had to put a balance sheet, a PMA balance sheet together, and you had those things in your column, and you had the money that you actually invest monthly or over your year, things that you invest into your education, which one do you come up in a deficit or do you come up in the profit zone? Have you ever done it? Have you ever listed it out? Okay. Here's what I put on my entertainment. All of these things here. All the things that I do to get entertained. Here's what I invest in education. Okay. Now, only you can be real. Some of you will say, you know what, I'm going to leave out this right here because that's entertainment, but I'm not going to put that on the top. You have to remember, whenever you're cheating yourself about your educational, your entertainment expenses, again, you're looking for the approval of other people. Why? You want your scorecard to show that you're better than you really are. When you get to the point that you care what others think, but your main force is what you care about you, that's when you have freedom and that's when you're able to move along. But you're going to have to start investing in your education. Investing in your education. When there was an event, I was the first to register. When I was broke, when there was a movie, I was the first to buy a ticket. I kept the same habit. I just switched the target of my investment. You remember I told you some of the things that I really wish that I had have done is I really wish that I had have gone to see Michael Jackson in concert, because at that time I'm investing in my education. I didn't have the money to go to my main 4 events a year and a Michael Jackson concert. I chose my events. I remember it was my 10-year high school reunion. Everybody can't wait for their 10-year high school reunion. I couldn't wait. 10 years, I've been gone. I was the prom king. I was the homecoming king. I was voted best all around. They gotta see me. They gotta see 10 years. Why? I'm gonna go and impress all of these people with all of this little success that I have. I had just now started making money in network marketing. I just now hit it, whereas I was up to, I'm talking that 10-year reunion, I was just now up to 20 grand a week. And you know what I'm gonna go do? I am gonna let everybody know y'all voted correctly. Why? I wanted their approval. And everybody else, like you, when you went to your 10-year reunion, you went back showing all of your false accomplishments. Many of you, you know what I'm talking about. It's what we do. And here I am going to invest in entertainment. They had they had all of the stuff that planned. I had bought my tickets. I was ready. I was going back while I am still the man. The next thing you know, they pop up and say, there's going to be an event. When is that event? And I looked at that event, and that event fell on the same weekend as my 10-year high school reunion. Do you know how long I've been waiting to go back and press them folk? Y'all know what I mean by press them folk? Impress those people. How long? 10 years. 10 years. When I first got into network marketing, my thought, man, when I go back to my high school reunion, I'm gonna be rich because I'm in network marketing. 7 years, never made more than $500, and I'm sitting there stressed, and I'm pressed. Why, man? I can't go back over there and be in this network marketing business and go over there and don't. This is what I got to show for 10 years. $500. Man, next thing you know, I hit it. I'm up there making money. I had money to buy me a new suit, new shoes. Mama was able to get her some new clothes, some new shoes, some new jewelry, and all of this stuff. And I'm going back, and we gonna walk in there. I'm telling, we walking in there. I probably was gonna walk in. I don't care. It was summertime. I was gonna walk in there probably with a chinchilla fur coat on. That's how I felt. I needed approval. And the other thing was, but I saw the decision that I made. Here's how I got rich. What I've been waiting for 10 years, I grew out of it. I knew my upline all of 6 months before they announced that event. And in less than 6 months, they announced an event. They say, hey, here's what the education is going to be. And I went. Okay. Somebody said they just passed out. I was gonna walk in there looking like Frank Lucas, if y'all know what I'm talking about, right? Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. But they had an event. Guess what I did? As soon as they announced the event, it was an emotional down for about 15 seconds. Why? Because now I am the thermostat, I am not the thermometer. And they announced the event, and I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, man, got my ticket. Bought 20 tickets. Why? I knew it was going to sell out, and I would buy the tickets for the people in my group that I was going to bring on, that I was going to recruit before the event took place. Investing in my education. I did go back my 20-year reunion. Here's what I realized. The older you get, you realize nobody cares. 20-year reunion came back, nobody cared about accomplishments. Nobody cared. Nobody cares. Now when you go, nobody cares. Why? Because people mature and they grow up. They mature and they grow up. And I had a lot more at that time. A lot more at that time. Because why? Now I'm 10 years in the making of making big money. But it was because I invested in my education and I did not focus more on my entertainment, and I wasn't so sucked in by approval of my peers. If I make enough noise, they'll know. I don't have to show them. People ask me, Holton, why don't you have a business card? I hadn't had a business card in 20-something years. People say, well, why don't you have a business card? I say, listen, if I'm not making enough noise for you to find me, I hadn't done it yet. That was my philosophy. I'm not saying it has to be yours. It was mine. Why? I had big goals. I had big dreams. Okay. I give you my business card when I'm hard to find. Let me make it where I'm easy to find. Let me make it where all you got to do is 10 or 12 people, and by the time you gotten to 10 people, somebody's going to know somebody who knows me and how to get a hold of me. That's my goal. That's what I wanted to accomplish. Number 3, blaming others for your failure. Who's responsible for your failure? Is your upline responsible for your failure? Are they to blame? Is your mom, your dad, is your school teacher responsible? I didn't take 100% responsibility for my failures. I blame other people for my failures. I went to an event and and I never forget, I went to one of my first events that I ever went to, and the speaker was up speaking, and I never forget, he spoke until 1 a.m. in the morning. At about 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night, spoke to 1 a.m. in the morning. And I'm like, what kind of event is this? And then after 1 a.m., they said, well, we're going to breakfast. I'm like, I'm going to sleep. They're like, listen, the leaders don't go to sleep. You know what time breakfast ended? At 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what time we had to be back in line? The event started at 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm like, what? I was being remolded. I had lived with average people, average thinkers. It's kind of like when I first moved to Houston, and the distance between places of interest was so far, whereas in Tampa, everybody lived within this small 3-mile radius. All of my family. There's parts of Tampa that I still had never visited before. It was uncommon for me to drive 15 minutes of driving anywhere in Tampa was a very long drive. In Houston, that's a short drive. You can drive an hour and still be in Houston. So when I got to Houston, my mind was stretched that there's more that I could do. It's okay to drive an hour. It's okay to go from this part to that part. I thought that was foreign. And it was the same thing. I thought you're supposed to get 8 hours of sleep every night. I thought you had to have, I thought everything's supposed to shut down at this time. This time, it was my conventional mind being reshaped and reformulated. And I was, at that moment, I was being molded to a whole different level of thinking. The meeting ended at 1, and then the next meeting start at 2, and it doesn't end till 4 a.m. Yeah. And at that time, I had a decision. I could have bought in, or I could have been blown out. I'm so glad I bought in. I'm so glad, because see, it was those 2 a.m. meetings that made me. It was those 2 a.m. meetings that made me. It was those meeting after the meeting. Some of you saw Edwin Haynes doing meeting after the meeting in all of these cities that he's going to. That's why he knows that's what made him. But you got to get to the big meeting so that you can get to the meeting after the meeting, specifically if you qualify for one. You have to. Ask Johnny Wimbrey, how many meetings? Ask him, what is his investment into his education like? Ask him, how much money do you invest in education? Still to this day, always investing in education. If you ask all of them, ask Cesar Munoz, how much does he invest into his education? How much does he invest into his success versus how much he invests into his entertainment? Here's the thing, your investment in your education should bring about results, and the interest from your results should pay for your entertainment. Don't pay for your entertainment with your seed money. Let your seed money be that major investment that you have. Number 4, being afraid to make mistakes. Afraid to make mistakes. I was always wanting to get things perfect. You ever seen that person who they're getting ready to get ready? And they're not, I'm not going to join until I can start first class. See, I want to be perfect. No, when do you start? Right now. When do you register? Right now. When do you go? Right now. When do you read? Right now. Don't read when you got the perfect, and well, I'm not going to read until, when we go on this trip, I'm going to take this book. I've been waiting to get better. I've been waiting to read this book so that I can get better once we go on vacation. And then that's when I'm going to read this because I won't have anybody around. No. Read the book now. By the time you get there, read another book. Have another one. Always getting ready to get ready because you're afraid to make mistakes. Let me at them. Let's make some mistakes. I'm going to make mistakes all the way to the finish line. That's what I do now. I go out and I jump, and I understand I'm going to make some mistakes. I'm going to correct them on my way down. I'm going to correct them on my way down. Number 5, staying in relationships that are not working. Staying in relationships that are not working. That's one of the signs that you're addicted to failure. Staying in relationships that are not working, whether they're personal relationships, financial relationships, business relationships that you have with people. It could, it could be personal relationship as well. But the quality of your relationships has a whole lot to do with how you feel, and how you feel has how you perform. I always want to feel good. This is why if there's a toxic relationship, I disengage from toxic relationships. It will cause you to fail. But some people are addicted to abuse, and it causes them to fail. Being addicted to 6, addicted to drama. How many of you know some drama queens or some drama kings? That everything, when I get these people and they call me up and say, listen, nobody in my group got this or got that, and I'm like, okay, nobody, or a lot of people in my group. Okay, well, how many is it? 2. Oh, a lot of people. I thought you had, okay, you got a big group, there's only 2 people. It's drama. They lead with drama. And it's always much bigger than what it is. I've got some family members, man, including my mom, man, and my aunts. I love them, but it's like, it's drama. They will call me up with something, and I'll never forget, my mom called me up. My mom called me up, and my aunt had cut her finger a little bit. Yeah, man, she cut her finger off. No, she had a paper cut. But that's normal. It's this drama. She cut her finger off. No, it was basically a little paper cut with a little knife. That's it. But it's that drama, making everything more than what it is. Because drama queens and drama kings, they are addicted to sympathy. And they are appealing because they want validation through your sympathetic response. That's what it is. Bring the real deal. Just bring the details to the table, and let's deal with the details. Don't bring the drama. Okay? Don't bring the drama. I start to realize the more successful people that I hang around, the less drama enters the conversations. When I was on the other side, it was mostly filled with drama. Mostly filled with drama. A lot of the conversations were drama filled. Why? Because drama is a replacement for substance and facts. Successful people like to deal in facts, the reality of the current situation, so that we can come to a solution quickly. Not all of the drama. Not all of the drama. Number 7, spending time with people who are going nowhere. Spending time with people who are going nowhere. You notice I didn't call it investing time, because you're spending. There is a difference between investments and spending. You spend on your entertainment. You invest in your education. You invest. I look at the price of Elevate and I'm like, that is probably one of the most rewarding investments that a person can actually make. $99 per month for you. And here's the thing. Let's say it took you 6 months to learn. You invested 6 months and you never traded real money for 6 months. Do you think you can make $100 a month after 6 months of being educated, after learning what these people, these experts that we have, all of our educators? I look at John Spence and his level of expertise and how he teaches, and the team that he's assembled in our Elevate platform. Guys, listen, you've got the best winning scenario out there, period. Period. I heard somebody say something that was just so idiotic. And I normally don't address these, but, oh, well, John and Ben, they're not successful network marketers. Why would you follow them? They never said they were successful network marketers. Matter of fact, they said that they weren't so good at it. It's the reason we were the perfect match. When I introduced them, do you remember me saying, you guys don't know network marketing, that's my expertise. I don't know trading, that's your expertise. We are the perfect marriage. But you're getting that from somebody else who's not good at trading. I'll tell you this. I'll put John and the Elevate educators, I'll put them up against any trading system of training out there in the network marketing world and even outside of the network marketing world. I've done my research. I know, I'm not saying that there's people out there who haven't made more money than our educators. That has nothing to do with it. I can give you some of the people in network. I can tell you right now, a good friend of mine who's rated right now the #1 earning network marketer, I can tell you right now, he couldn't teach you the basics. He was in my group. He was never made any money. He was in my group before. We're still good friends. We talk to this day. He can't teach. And what he does is not even duplicatable. It's not even duplicatable. You don't even know why he's making that, and he don't even get to keep it all. So it's not about that John doesn't make it. I know he manages a 9-figure portfolio for other clients, and there's clients who throw tons of money and say, "Grow my money." You'll never hear them teach on network marketing. That's not what they're. You got Edwin Haynes. You got Edwin Haynes. You got Johnny Wimbrey. You got Cesar Munoz. You got David Hunt. You got me. You don't need them to teach on network marketing. But I can tell you one thing, Johnny Wimbrey probably, only thing he can tell you about Elevate is how to log in. He can't teach you Elevate. It's not his purpose. It's not his purpose. Okay? So don't fall for the okie doke. Well, they didn't make any rank in their previous company. They weren't moving for the rank. They were interested in how to trade, learning how to trade, and became excellent at trading, and then learned how to trade outside of that and formed their own trading school. But looking for the approval of others and making dumb statements like that validate you. Why? Because I got rumor of this and this and this and that. No. I'll tell you what, the ones who talking to you about network marketing, put them up against me. Put them up against me blindfolded with one eye and two hands tied behind my back, if we want to compete. So let's go there. Let's just drop the mic right there. Okay. So you got to understand your resources, who you need your resources, and who you're going to get resources from. Okay. Who you're going to get resources and where you get them from. We've got the best of the best. You need to invest in it. Spending time with people who are going nowhere, one of the keys to failure. One of the keys that you're addicted. One of the signs that you're addicted to failure. Okay. One of the other signs that you're addicted to failure is that you're careless with money and none of your money works for you. Again, right back to Elevate. Your money is not working for you. Some of you say, well, when I get a lot of money, I'll put it to work. You'll never have a lot of money. You've got the wrong philosophy. Start with, people are starting with $100 in their accounts. And I've seen some turn it $100, and I've seen them in a day turn it to $300. Put your money to work for you. How do you put your money to work for you? In education. If I've got $500 here, and that's all I've got, and that's all I've got. You know what I'm thinking now? See, before, you know what I was thinking when I was on the wrong side of money? How can I save this and keep this so I don't lose it? Now, how could I invest this? What could I do with a portion of this 500 so that I can become better? There's nothing that I can put $500 in to educate myself that I can't use the skill to make more than the $500 that I invested. That's how you become successful. That's how you do it. Don't be careless with your money. Don't throw it all away. Number 9, you've got dreams, but you don't have any goals. Anyone can dream. Dreams are free. Goals take work. How do I know you have goals? Because you have a date on it and you got a plan and you are accountable. I had dreams, I want to be a diamond. I would stand up at every event and say, I'm going to be a diamond. 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 And I didn't have a plan for so many years. And it wasn't until I wrote down a specific plan on how to accomplish those things, and that's when things took off for me. You've got dreams, but don't have any goals. Dreams with no dates are only wishes. Those are wishes. And wishing is a poor business strategy. Somebody said that they missed number 8. Number 8 was careless with your money. 7 was spending time with people who are going nowhere. Number 10, and I got an announcement after 10. You look at other people who are successful and you think they got there by being lucky. You think they got there by being lucky. There's no, if you want to call it luck, we used to give luck. We had an acronym for luck, L-U-C-K. The L stands for labor, the U stands for under, the C stands for correct, the K stands for knowledge. Labor, under, correct, knowledge. That's how you get lucky. Here's what happens. The harder I work, the luckier I become. The harder I work, see, when I work real hard and I invest in myself and I become a smart worker, doors open up to me that I normally wouldn't have been able to open, but it only opened up to me because of my seed of hard work and investment into my environment. This is why right now, one of the best things that you can have is an investment into your environment, specifically after a pandemic. Being home, being next to the same people who have the same challenges that you have, and not being around other people, it becomes a hindrance to progress. This is why when I'm hearing from the people who are showing up at these events that Sam Bean are doing over there, events that Cesar's doing, events that Edwin Haynes are doing, I'm hearing how they feel so much different. The people who came to Mexico, for our event in Mexico, they feel much different, from coming from Accelerate. You've got to make sure that you put the work in. Put the work in, and you will start to realize things start to happen when you put the work in. Things start to happen when you put the work in. Well, HB, it's a little hard to work without me being able to see the group. Let me look for this message here real quick and see if it came through. Message didn't come through yet. Things are a little tough. I can't see the group. I'll never forget, I was telling one of our leaders, and it was a brand new group of people. And this is why they grew and are growing so fast. Started off, and I think in the month of May, they put in about 400 and something people in their organization. Almost 500 people this month. They're doing call after call after call, and they said, well, listen, we can't see anything. I can't even see who's on the left and who's on the right. And I'll never forget, here's what I told them. I said, do you ever see the movie? And I forgot the name of the movie, but it was The Death Crawl. And The Death Crawl it was a football coach who had a coach of a football team, American football team. And he was challenged one of the guys to a death crawl. And the death crawl was, you get on all fours, and you can't use your knees, on your hands and your toes and the balls of your feet, and you've got to death crawl. They call it the death crawl. You got to go, as far as you can go. And the football field is 100 yards long. That's facing the Giants. Okay? I said, here's what I want you to do. I said, if you remember the guy who did the death crawl, not only did he do the death crawl, but he had a guy on his back. And he had to crawl from one part of the end zone and go as far as he could. And some people only go 30 yards, some people only go 50 yards. And they go that distance. Why? Because this is what they expect. You'll never do more than what you expect to do. And where do your expectations come from? It comes from your senses. It comes from your sight. What you see being done is what you expect to do somewhere near that. It takes a rare person to want to exceed what they see. I say, so right now, I want you to remember that you're doing a death crawl right now. And when the guy did the death crawl, the coach blindfolded him. He blindfolded him, and he did the death crawl, and he pushed 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 and he pushed. And next thing, he's at 30 yards, and then he's at 40, and he's at 50, and then he gets to 60 yards. And he didn't know where he was. He didn't know if he had gone 20, he had gone 30. But he kept going, and coach pushed him and pushed him and pushed him and pushed him. And by the time he finished, he had crossed the goal line, and nobody had done a death crawl with another player on their back for 100 yards. Why did he do it? Because he couldn't see where he was going. And when you can't see where you're going, all you can do is give all that you have. And I told Darren, I say, just go do all that you can do. Right now, you're death crawling iBoomerang. You're blindfolded. You can't see it. You can't see how close to the marker you are. You don't know. You can't see it. Go do your death crawl. And just do what you can do. And see, if you do what you can do, regardless of whether you could have seen it or not, that's what your results going to be anyway. But sometimes when you can see the results, it slows you down, because some of you are afraid to outgrow your upline. and you're more than capable of doing it. Some of you put diamonds here so much that you will only go here because you don't feel like you belong in this category right here. And so you crawl 50 yards. Some of you need to put your blindfolds on and death crawl. And for those of you who are doing it, I applaud you. I salute you, because that's what winners do. That's exactly what winners do. And every one of you on this call, you're a winner. Every one of you on this call can be whatever it is that you want to be in this company. We laid it out for you. This is the company for you. We've been thinking long and hard. And I said, well, you know what? After all of the challenges that we've endured, I want to do something special. I want to take and do an event that's a little unique. I want to do something different. I want to take a few people, just a few, live, and I want to really do more of what I call a Go Diamond Academy. Give me some love out there if something like a Go Diamond Academy would be something that you think would be off the charts. Yeah. And take some people and really, yeah, we'll do some of the other stuff, but I'm talking about lay it out, and I'm talking about take the best of the best, and myself, not just be on and do one or two exercises, but do quite a bit, probably half a day of in-depth training, as I would normally do at maybe a Ruby and above leadership. I thought about it. Okay. And so we're going to do it. We're going to do it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are putting right now, we're going to announce this right now, Go Diamond, whole different format that you've ever seen before. And it's only going to be a limited number of people who can attend because of some of the space restrictions that we do have. And we're just going to knock it out. The dates are going to be, let's see if we have do they have my slides ready for me? Okay. Go Diamond Connect is what we're going to call it. Houston, Texas, July 10th and 11th. Okay. And we're going to be at the Marriott Marquis, which is downtown at the Marriott Marquis. That's where the event's going to be. You guys know where the George R. Brown Convention Center is, 2 hotels attached. You'll have the Marriott Marquis, and you've got the Hilton I think it's called Hilton Americas, which is right there. So if you want to choose your room, those of you who are going to be there now, we'll only keep the tickets up until we sell out of tickets. We don't have a major arena. This is not going to be an event with thousands of people. We don't have the space for it. Okay, so we've got limited space for that. Tickets should be available right now in the back office. Go to the next slide. Okay, regular price for this ticket is $199. Early bird special is going to be $149. And what I want you thinking is, before you even buy the ticket, and I know some of you are rushing to go get their ticket now, here's what I want you thinking. $149. I want you buying a ticket, and before you finish hitting the submit button, I want you having a thought process of being able to 10x your investment. How can I take $149? Do I believe I can go get enough information here that will bring back minimum $1,490 worth of profits? If I don't believe that I can learn that, don't come. Because that's just going to be entertainment for you. Because I'm going to lay it out. There's some special things that I'll do that won't be on our live stream. We won't even be able to put them on the live stream. But we're going to break it all down for you and give the raw basics of Go Diamond. And it's going to be like a Go Diamond Academy. And I'm going to be the main professor. You're going to have obviously your Edwin Haynes, your Johnny Wimbridge. You're going to have your Martha Ermich. You're going to have your Cesar Munoz. You're going to have all of our diamonds that are going to be there. Everybody's not going to be training, but we are going to put it and lay it out because we know already by then we will have what I call smooth sailing, a much smoother sailing where you'll be able to leave out of there and run at the pace that you know that you should be running at anyway. We're going to obviously have this for those of you who can't be there. We have to have our online version. Our online version is going to be $49 as well, so you can watch it online. Those of you who are around the world, for those of you who can get here, man, get here. Get here, be here at this event. If you can be here live, there's some really cool things. Downtown Houston is amazing. You need to be around the environment. You need to be around the people, okay? Those of you who are in the chat right now, if you're already on there, you've already made your decision. I want you to just put in there, got my ticket or get my ticket. You know what I'm saying? Now, remember, already have your 10X mentality in place. Have your 10X mentality right now as you're online getting that ticket. I don't want you coming there suspect. I want you coming there confident, knowing I am coming to 10X my investment. And I'm not even talking about what you'll make from Elevate. I'm talking about you personally, investing in your PMA, taking those results, multiplying those results, and becoming a more, better, productive, profitable you. Okay? That's what we want you doing. That's what I want to see take place for each and every one of you. July 10th, July 11th, we are going to rock the house. We've never done a training like this. It won't be a whole lot of corporate announcements. It's going to be an academy. We're not doing a whole, a lot of we're going to have our production. It's going to be nice. But I'm talking from a content standpoint, it's going to be information and education driven. Okay? It's going to be information and education driven. So let's make that happen. A couple other things that we've got going on. Okay? For the ladies, not for all the ladies, it's not a major announcement, so you can't go out there and register for this, but Lady Bugs she's been so anxious to get with the ladies and do something with the ladies. And because of restrictions and things of that nature that we have, we only have room enough for emeralds and above to participate if they choose to. It's going to be afternoon tea with Earlene Bugs, emeralds, ladies and above. And that's going to be on Friday. That's going to be the 9th, okay? The 9th of July, 2 o'clock in the afternoon at the Post Oak Hotel, which is not at the same area, but the Post Oak Hotel, the finest hotel here in Houston that we have. And it's going to be tea. Transportation is included with this right here. Not only tea, just some of the hors d'oeuvres and stuff like that they have, but a great environment. And I'm sure once you register, she'll give you guys a little update as to what to wear and things of that nature. It's going to be absolutely incredible. She's very fired up and excited just to get back and do some things with the ladies before the next big ladies event that we're able to do. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm fired up. I want to thank each and every one of you again for your participation here. Here's what you do. Each and every one of you, here's what I need you to do. Oh, I forgot. The official closing celebration, guys, we're going to party again. And we do have a big party that we're going to have. All superstar achievers get in free, but it's $49.95. It's limited number of people for this event. We can't fit all 700 in this event. I think we're going to only have a few hundred people, maybe 400 or 500 people that can fit in. I don't know if it's 500, but it's limited number of people. If you're a superstar achiever, current superstar achiever, your ticket is no cost to you. Other than that, you will pay $49.95. But I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, we are going house at this event. I can't wait. I can't wait for it. Those of you who are online right now, here's what I want you to do in preparation for your win. Okay? Whoever your sponsor and your upline is, once you've gotten your ticket, you let them know. Send them a screenshot of your registration and say, count on me. Count on me. Count on me. All right? And why do I tell you to do that? I told you. There was never a time that an event came out that my sponsor or my upline even had to ask me, did I have my ticket? For me, it was embarrassing if they had to ask me, am I attending? I always let them know in advance. I always got more tickets than I needed. And those were the investments that I made into my future. Hopefully you make yours. Each and every one of you guys, love each and every one of you. You guys are amazing. Wouldn't trade you for the world. I can't wait to see your beautiful faces on July 10th and July 11th. Get ready for school. Get ready for Diamond School. It is Gold Diamond Connect, which is going to be an academy of all that you need to go from where you are in between all the way up to Diamond and above. Make sure that you get your team and get your team registered. Tickets will sell out. Why? First time we're doing an event right back here in Houston in such a long time, but we can't wait to see you. Love you guys. Happy Memorial Day. You guys have an incredible evening. Be safe out there and peace out. Talk to you guys soon.